welcome to COS Indiana Live. There's never been a more important time in our history than now if you believe it's time to stand up and be free. Stay tuned and come back every Monday at 7 p.m. as our state director and host, Dale Parrish, present the need for self-governance. Our COS Indiana vision statement is to build a grassroots community of Hoosier citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. So, take it away, Dale.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Maringo Mike, for that introduction. I hope I made it through okay. I had to push a lot of buttons and so forth to coordinate everything, but hope you enjoyed that introduction. As Maringo Mike said, my name is Dale Parrish. I am the state director for Convention of States here in Indiana, and I want to welcome you to our broadcast tonight. We have a really great broadcast planned for you this evening. Got a very, very special segment early in the broadcast that we want to bring to you, and I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. Now, before we get into that, I want to once again announce that we are now live streaming our broadcast through our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So we're now offering viewers another alternative way to view our broadcast. So live streaming through our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. Let me go quickly through the segments of our broadcast that we structure our broadcast into 4 segments always. Our first segment is what we call the discussion topic or topic of discussion segment. Now, I like to, as much as possible, I like to bring in individuals from our leadership group here in Indiana to introduce those people to you so you get to know them and know what they do and their duties here in Convention of States. Sometimes we'll bring in leadership individuals from our national group and introduce those individuals to you. Other times we will maybe have a panel discussion on a particular topic that's important at the time. Tonight, I have one of our leadership individuals here to present to you and show you a special project that he has worked on. We're going to have Ken Kashuba, our state communications coordinator, come on here very shortly. And Ken is a videographer by trade and still does some video projects from time to time. He is retired now, but he still engages in some video projects, and he has recently completed a project that just touched my heart, and I know it touched his. And we're going to bring him on, and we're going to tell you about this project. We have a trailer that we're going to present to you about the project. So I'll hold off, won't say anything more at this very moment, and we'll wait to bring Ken in. But I think you're really, really going to enjoy it. And quite honestly, it's very appropriate for tomorrow being the election day. So I won't go any further on it right now, and we'll wait. I'll hold off until I can bring Ken in to talk further about it. Now, after the first segment, the topic discussion segment, then I'll bring up my PowerPoint, share some general information with you about our state and how we're performing, give you a few numbers. After that segment, then I will do my best to recognize any comments or questions that viewers have submitted. So if you are a viewer and you want to make a comment or ask a question, feel free to do that in the chat section. And like I said, I'll do my best to recognize, make the comment or question very brief, as I'm limited as to how many characters I can put on the screen at one time. The final segment then is what I call the invitation. And in this segment, we will kind of wrap things up tonight. I'll let you know what we have planned for our broadcast next Monday evening on the 9th of November. And then I'm going to invite you to join in Convention of States here in Indiana. You, the Hoosiers in our state that have not yet joined our movement, Convention of States, you're the target audience that we're trying to reach. Now, obviously, this broadcast goes to individuals beyond the borders of Indiana, and that's fine. And we're certainly we welcome any and all viewers to our broadcast. But the targeted audience is the group, the people, the Hoosiers here in Indiana that are not in our movement as yet. So, as the segment is titled Invitation, I'm going to invite you to join Convention of States here in Indiana. So without further ado, let me unmute Ken, first of all, and then, so I need to remember to do that, and then bring Ken into the, onto the screen. There he is. Hi, Ken.
Hello, Dale. How are you?
And there you go. The audio is a little delay there. Hopefully we're okay right now. So how are you this evening, Ken?
I'm doing fine, Dale. Thanks.
Okay, we have an audio delay, Ken. I don't know exactly. Yeah, it's hopefully it'll straighten out. It may not be a delay on the recording. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna mute you and unmute you again just to see if that works. Okay, I've unmuted him. Now I muted him. Now I've unmuted him. I don't know if that helped any, Ken.
Is it any better?
I think it is.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I think yeah, I think we're on track now.
Good.
See how I am such a technology. I am just right on top of it, aren't I, Ken?
Between hosting and taking care of the technical duties, Dale, you're more than a program director.
I can't believe that worked. That makes me very proud. All right, as I said, Ken is our State Communications Coordinator. SCC is the acronym that we use for his position. Ken, just very briefly, what all do you do as our State Communications Coordinator?
Well, Dale, I consider it to be one of the more enjoyable positions, if I can label it that. I get to deal with a lot of creative people that like to communicate. So I'm involved with people for our social media, so our Facebook and Instagram and all those different types of social media channels. I get to deal with people that regularly work on those ends, as well as our newsletter and other things that just help keep our leaders and people in the state connected through our communications. So it's a fun job.
All right, now and I wasn't going to ask you to do this tonight, but ladies and gentlemen, I would like for you to meet Marengo Mike.
Yeah,
and
the little characters. I've enjoyed the creation of Marengo, and I'm glad it's working out, at least to bring some levity and some smiles to our different segments that we're getting him involved in.
I think he sure does, and you're going to see, if my plans work out, you're all going to see more of Marengo Mike come next year. We're going to make him a part of this broadcast, or give him a bigger segment in the broadcast. Anyway, that's not what we wanted to talk about tonight. Ken, you have a project that you recently did, and the project has to do with a PFC Lewis Weezahan. Did I say that right?
Yes. It's spelled wrong, Dale, but you pronounced it right. That's okay.
Did I spell it correctly?
No, it's you've got it Wiseham, but that's okay. It's Weezahan, and that's not a problem. You got the mic problem solved. That's a bigger issue.
Okay. Well, I didn't believe. I'm sorry. I didn't.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, my goodness, I didn't know I had misspelled. Anyway, I'm going to bring up the trailer that Ken created. Now, the full version of this is about 30 minutes long. We can't play that tonight, but we're just going to play the trailer, which is about a minute and a half, and then we'll talk further about it, and we'll give you some ways to secure the full version in DVD if you so desire. But I'm going to, in order to do this, I'm going to have to mute us both again and bring up this trailer. So here we go.
The year 2020 will go down in recent history like no other. Like me, I'm sure we're all a bit tired of things that don't really represent the fabric of our country. Last week, I had the opportunity to cover a story that reminded me of what America is, who Americans are. A story of a 20-year-old Marine who gave his life for his country and was listed as missing in action for 77 years. PFC Louis Wiesenhan was miraculously identified in 2019 and returned to his homeland in Richmond, Indiana. As I covered the processional from Indianapolis down US 40, Veterans Memorial Highway, I was reminded of the American spirit, as young and old alike gathered and stood to show their respect for someone they never knew, to thank him for his service, to give them the freedom they now enjoy. It was a refreshing sight, one that renewed my hope and my spirit, a reprise from the non-stop battering of 2020. The full coverage will be released in the coming weeks and available on DVD. For anyone interested in obtaining a copy, more information will be forthcoming. Thank you.
Well, that was excellent. Like I said, that is the trailer for this project that Ken worked on. This young man, Ken, tell us. Every time I watch this, it just brings up more emotions and more questions. But let's stick with the script here. Tell us, Ken, how this.
Well, Dale, I had a lady named Kim Gardner contact me back in March, inquiring about whether I could possibly help her cover this story as it was going to develop in April originally, of her great uncle who was missing in action for 77 years. And right off the bat, that got my attention. 77 years. I had to count back and realize that we were talking about Pearl Harbor time. So she contacted me, wanted to know if I'd be able to create or cover the story, which was going to be 3 days in total, starting on a Thursday and ending on a Saturday. And she wanted to capture basically the video for her family and put it on DVD because many of the family was not going to be able to attend. So I kind of worked out with her that the time framing that I'd be more than happy to do it. The story really interested me at that point because when she described to me the fact that her great uncle had been discovered and was going to be brought in, with military and other types of recognition, I thought, well, this is a story that I'm personally interested in. So, of course,
now this is a 20-year-old young man.
Yeah.
That was killed in action in 1943.
Yeah.
And
had signed up when he was 19. So, basically signed up when he was 19 and was killed when he was 20 years old. I believe it was not too much after his birthday, but obviously COVID canceled those plans for her, and so it kind of got shelved, and quite honestly, I didn't think it was going to happen again. I had no further contact with her till about August, when she called me again and said, "Hey, it's back on again, and we're gonna shoot for late September to get this done." So I crossed my fingers, and she crossed hers, and we went forward.
So you didn't really know what to expect, I guess, at this point in time, did you?
No, I mean, she laid out what was going to happen. She said basically that he would come into the airport. They would bring him into the airport, and then there was going to be a processional involving the Patriot Guard, motorcycle Patriot Guard, out Route 40, which is Veterans Memorial Highway, or runs parallel to Route 70 in Indiana there, and was going to run out to Richmond, where he's from. He was born in Richmond, Indiana. So there was going to be a processional on Thursday, and then on Friday they were going to hold a ceremony at the Veterans Park in Richmond, where a number of people were going to speak. The mayor, Congressman Greg Pence was arranged to be in because he was a Marine as well. And then Friday late afternoon, they were going to have a public viewing available at the Doan Mills Funeral Home in Richmond. And then Saturday was going to be basically another procession from downtown Richmond to the outer stretches of Richmond, where Goshen Cemetery was where his parents were laid to rest, and they were going to lay him to rest next to his parents.
Okay, we're going real long in this segment. I'm going to have to jump, Ken, to tell me how this whole experience, and you even mention it in the trailer, but tell me how this envisions how you see the country.
Well, Dale, I think the story was interesting to me, and it as I think I told you, it hit me on the processional the very first day. I mean, it's something to watch, a casket come off the plane, and the Marines, and as you saw in the trailer. I mean, that gave me chills as it was, but I was basically going out in front of the procession to make stops along the way to video the processional coming through on its way out to Richmond. And it was that car time, traveling on out to Richmond and making stops along the way. As I started going down 40 ahead of the processional, I was noticing, in the less populated areas along 40, there were people lined up along the road, little kids up to, elderly people in wheelchairs along the side of the road, just waiting for him to come through. And it was one of those things that after a couple of stops and seeing these people, and then actually obviously videoing some of the people in the larger towns, it got emotional for me. It hit me because I think I realized how numb I have been, and I think everybody has felt just a bit numb in 2020, but it really drops back for me even further. 3 or 4 years back, I didn't recognize our country anymore, really. Not from what I was being seen and what we were being told. So I was numb, and I realized at that point that I was seeing what I remembered America as being, and that's why I think I mentioned it in the trailer. What America is and who Americans are hit me, because these people were out there showing respect for a man they never knew, and a guy that died for his country, so that we could be out there, and we can have our freedom of speech and other things that our Constitution gives us, and he fought for. And I just thought, there's such a lack of respect in our country nowadays, tearing things down, burning things up. It hit me.
Yeah, me too. Watching this, and And tomorrow we get to exercise one of those freedoms that this young man died for, and that's the right to vote, and the freedom that we have to vote. So, such a young man. I don't know if I don't know. I try to think back when I was 20 years old, how much I realized at that time, and I wonder if he realizes all this, or if he realized all what he was doing. But the fact of the matter is, this young man gave his life for the freedoms and rights that unfortunately are taken for granted a lot today, and even come under attack. But I think for many of us, we still cherish these, and I think we should honor young men like this that gave their life, as well as any other veterans, men or women, that have given their life for this country. I think it's just we need to be reminded of this frequently, and I think your piece does that, Ken.
Oh, exactly, Dale. And we talked about it, and I think back to when I was in and around that age, 20. We both talked about times of that, and I was close to being drafted to go to Vietnam, and I think I told you it got Nixon ended the war, so I didn't have to go. But I thought about that with this guy, and he was 20 and on this island, fighting for our country. And I think of when in the middle of this clip, or this movie, the gentleman who is from History Flight is the nonprofit group that basically is responsible for discovering, last I knew, it was 35 of those off of that island. And when he describes the battle, and what these guys did, it left me speechless. The fact that if I had gone to Vietnam, I don't know, it left me speechless. So I really, it's hard for me to say anything more on it other than these guys served our country and selflessly served our country. And to me, at the very end, after listening to the History Flight guy talk about the battle, he defined sacrifice. He talked about these guys, their families at home got notified on December 23rd and on December 24th, before Christmas, that their sons weren't coming home. Sacrifice for the country, and it gets me every time.
Yeah. Well, Ken, I've got the website address here. If anyone wants to contact you to get the DVD, it's about a 30-minute, right? It's about a 30-minute DVD. So go to, what is it? sightandsoundstudio.com.
Yeah, that's my website, .com/DVD -orders. There's a way that you can order the DVD there. The DVD has been, it's been nicely done. I had it printed up with the horse-drawn casing on as the cover of the DVD. And at this point, I think it's a story worth keeping. So I really wanted to go all out and having it done. So that's where you can get it. If you've got questions about it, or you can certainly get me. You can contact me through the website as well.
Well, I certainly would encourage anyone to secure this. I got to see the full version of it, and I would recommend, when you're watching it, I would recommend you have a box of tissues handy, because it's very emotional. I mean, in the full version, you get to see and hear people talking, and the chaplain and the service, and it's really really very well done,
Well,
Ken.
Kim's story as well, Dale. Kim's story, and that the family was just persistent. I mean, this goes back to 2006, probably earlier, that they were pursuing the possibility that their their relative could be found. So the family just persisted, and it was, again, another piece of fabric that I think Americans have. And it's brought up both in the chaplain's talk as well as the guy from History.
Now,
Yeah.
didn't you tell me, Ken, that what was discovered was a mass grave on this island, and it was located under a building that had been constructed over it, right?
Yeah, we had talked a little bit about this, and I went back and researched a little further on what was done. They actually used some kind of a ground radar that they were using, and they suspected they felt pretty sure that they had recognized that there was a grave under this building, and they actually raised the building and then did their excavation there, and that's where they found PFC Lewis. They found his bones, and they found dog tags, a rubberized poncho, and the soles of his boots.
Wow. Now, how many other? Didn't you tell me how many other bodies they discovered there?
I don't know if all 35 were in that building. I think there was other ones that were found elsewhere on the island. I think there was a total of 1,000 Marines and sailors that were killed in that battle. The number's not coming back to me right now. I think they found. I know they found 35 on Tarawa, and there's another number total that they've found in other places, and they brought them to Hawaii to identify them. But
okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah. Pretty amazing group, this History Flight, and
yes, we need to follow this group closer, and maybe hopefully there'll be some other stories that they will. People like you will present and make available to us. So
I think I mentioned that there was one other guy they found that's close by Cincinnati. There was another soldier that was from Cincinnati.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've gone way over time, but I think hopefully everyone enjoyed this. Like I said, I think it was a very, very worthwhile, and once again, a very timely piece. This man died for our freedoms and for our rights, and tomorrow is a time, if you haven't already, which I haven't, so tomorrow I'm going to exercise my right to vote, in which PFC Lewis Weezahan died so that I would have that right.
Go vote.
So, thank you very much, Ken.
You're welcome, Dale.
Thank you. Okay, folks, we have gone way over time, so I am going to skip to the third segment of our broadcast, and I want to try and recognize some comments from viewers that we got tonight. James Cressy has joined us again this evening, saying, "Be sure to get out and vote tomorrow." Yes, James, that's exactly a very, very good point to make. Very good point. Our newsletter editor, Susan Lyon, wanted to remind me to make everyone aware that we have another gun show coming up in Kokomo, November 14th to 15th. Now, we recently, doing gun shows is a very, very big event for us. When I say we're doing a gun show, we have an information table there, and we have volunteers there, and we talk to people about convention estates. We have found that we do this at county fairs and other types of events, but we also do this at gun shows. We find that those individuals attending gun shows are very, very like-minded individuals and are very open to talking to us about convention estates, and we always get quite a few people to sign up. So starting next year, we're going to incorporate in the broadcast more and more upcoming events for everyone so that you can all be aware of gun shows or county fairs or other types of events that we have planned here in Convention Estates starting next year. So thank you, Susan, for making that, for reminding us of this. Kokomo Gun Show coming up November 14th, 15th. And Susan also wanted to chip in saying, touching story of PSC Weezahan. So I think hopefully maybe she's got it spelled right. I evidently I misspelled it. So anyway, so let me then go to our final segment, which is where we wrap things up for the evening. And I always like to wrap things up, and I always like to bring up this photo to kind of help wrap things up. Now, I want to say before I end that our broadcast next Monday, which will be November 9th, we're going to have one of our district captains on. His name is John Domka, and John is the district captain for District 3 up in the northwest corner of the state, in the region up in that area. And John, as a matter of fact, John has been very active in conducting a gun show at Crown Point, Indiana, just this past weekend, I believe it was. So thought I'd bring John on and introduce him to you and let you know what he is doing as a district captain up in his district. So next Monday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, COS Indiana Live, and our guest will be John Domka. I want to just end our broadcast once again, inviting those of you that have not become part of our movement here in Indiana to consider joining us. If you would like to find out more, go again to our national website, conventionofstates.com, and click on the menu selection, Take Action, and scroll down. First of all, when you go to the website, conventionofstates.com, the first thing, if you're not a supporter, open an account, sign the petition, and that makes you then a supporter of Convention of States, and that's very important. That's a very important step. Now, if you would like to explore possibly getting more involved, then click on the menu selection, Take Action, and scroll down and look at the various volunteer positions that we have available. And hopefully there'll be something in there that would be of interest to you. Go ahead and make application. Don't worry, you're not obligated in any way, but your name then will come up on a report that I see, as well as a few others, and one of us will be in contact with you to further discuss that position with you. So we would love to have you, if nothing else, as a supporter, but we would really love to have you step forward and get involved in a leadership position. Folks, I want to end the broadcast to once again point out the importance of what's happening tomorrow. And if you haven't voted, like I haven't, then tomorrow is the day that we have to get out and exercise our right to vote. Because PFC Louis Weezahan died for that right that we have and that freedom. So let's get out and exercise that freedom that he died for. And you know, I always like to wrap it up with a quote from our president, Mark Meckler, and that is that there's a fundamental question facing our country today, and it's not what should we do. The question is who decides. The question facing us is a two-word question, very simply, who decides? We believe that we, the people, should have a greater say-so in deciding, not only at the federal level, but state level, county level, city, community. We, the people. This is part of self-governance. This is a constitutional right, is self-governance. Another thing that PFC Wiesenhand died for us to have. So folks, I'm going to wrap it up there, and I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget us next Monday evening, 7 p.m., COS Indiana Live. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening.